Welcome to the Manifested Life podcast. I'm your host, Vienna Corbett, and here we don't wait for someday. It's already done, so let's go. So happy New Year to everybody. Happy 2026. I'm super stoked for this year because I went into this year with some really big intentions and I've written out my vision for 2026. And so I hope that you guys have done the same, but I'm pumped. And what I wanted to actually talk about today was something fascinating to me, and that is horoscopes. So many people read their horoscopes, and I'm so interested in that because I've read horoscopes before. I've done my horoscopes before. But what I have found is that sometimes when you read the horoscope, it can come off a little negative. So somebody said to me recently that I read my horoscope and it said for the next 6 months, I will face challenge and then I will get to the easy part. And that was so interesting to me because they went into this with a few beliefs already in place. And I'm not saying that horoscopes are not accurate. But what gets them to become not accurate or gets them to become more negative is our perception of them. So he said to me, my horoscope said that over the next 6 months, in the new year, I will face challenges and then it will be ease and flow in the summer. And I said, well, that's fabulous. And he's like, well, how's that fabulous? I said, well, he was concerned because he said, how is me struggling for the next 6 months fabulous? And I said to him, there's your problem. You didn't say that it said struggle. That wasn't what you had said. Read me the horoscope. And he said, it said that over the next 6 months, I will face challenge. And then in summer, it will be easy. And I said, okay. So right now, we're already affirming that your belief is that with challenge comes struggle. That was your belief, is that with challenge comes struggle. And so let's look at this just for a moment. We all know that we have belief systems that run internally. And we usually feel pretty strongly about these belief systems, okay? And it can be hard to change them, especially when others are trying to change them, right? When others are trying to influence them. However, you actually have a choice. You get to choose what you want to believe, okay? You get to choose what you want to believe and what you don't want to believe. I want to believe things that will serve me, that benefit me, that elevate me. The rest can just piss off for the rest of 2026 and beyond. So when I look at this and this belief system, it's that challenge equates to struggle. And then we assume that this comes from previous experience, right? We can only assume that this comes from previous experience with this person. And so whatever that person had faced, maybe previously in life, previously this person had found that anytime they had a challenge, it equated to struggle, or they had many, many struggles in their path, right? And that's why now they believe that one equates to the other. And it could be for many reasons, right? We don't know the reason. We don't know the reason. But let's look at the 6-month part. First of all, some people would believe that 6 months is a long time, and some people think that 6 months is a short time, right? So you have to look at that part even. But he said to me, for 6 months, I will struggle, and then I will have ease and flow. Okay. Well, if we look at it like this, if you go to the gym, okay, let's say that you're like, I'm going to go to the gym. Lots of people go to the gym come New Year's and they're like, I'm going to go to the gym. And let's say you go to the gym and you walk on a treadmill for 1 week, okay, for 15 minutes, no incline, just a steady pace. And after 1 week, we could probably add a small incline, right? And this could be considered a challenge. It could have been a challenge just to go to the gym. I don't know about you, but getting onto a treadmill is already a challenge for me. That's already a challenge for me. So we face a challenge by going to the gym, and then we add a challenge. Now, if we fast forward to 6 months, do you think that we would have we have challenged ourselves at some point and increased the speed and the incline on that treadmill? And do you think after 6 months, it would be easier to go to the gym And it would be easier to get on the treadmill and it'd be easier to add speed in an incline, right? Yeah. Why? Because we adjust to the challenge as they come. We get to a challenge, we overcome it, it becomes easier. We didn't have to struggle, right? Lots of people get thrown off from the gym because they believe that going to the gym is going to be like a struggle, but it doesn't have to be a struggle, just like our manifestations don't have to be a struggle. So we just had to maybe get uncomfortable. And I think that when I talk about discomfort, people automatically go to struggle, to pain, to agony, to something that they're not going to enjoy. It could be challenging to go to the gym, challenging to learn how to use Canva, how to upload to YouTube. That's something I'm learning. How to paint in watercolor. That could be challenging. How to tattoo, how to garden, how to drive a motorcycle, right? Many things come with challenges. It's a challenge because it's new. It's not yet done before. This is uncharted territory. So challenging doesn't have to be negative. I actually really enjoy challenges. When I get a client with some really powerful beliefs, it can be challenging. I always say that my children always challenge my beliefs. They always challenge my ability to parent, right? They always expand my awareness. When my kids are frustrating me, they're expanding my awareness, right? So especially if people are in this work for me, they get to a certain level of self-awareness, and this gives me a challenge. And that allows me to grow, to expand, and to become a bigger, more elevated person. Now it's flow, right? Because I have that experience. So if we look at our manifestations and our inner work, yes, it could be challenging to ask ourselves questions. I created a 60-day transformational journal for people so that they could take out some of the challenge and they could have a, a pre-written journal prompt that they could go do this deep work with. You could still have challenges with the journal prompts, but now the footwork is gone. The struggle part is gone. So, however, after 60 days, I promise you're going to be a different person. But when I did the journal or when I did these journal prompts, I became a different person and it could have been challenging. But that's why I created it. I made it available to everyone because I took the last 3 years, the 50K that I spent on coaches in the last year or so, the thousands I spent the year before and all the guesswork and all of that stuff. I took all of that and I put that into a journal for people so that they could fast track, right? So yes, there will be some challenges to write those uncomfortable things down. There will be challenges to have to look at yourself and look at your inner beliefs. But then it's ease. It becomes effortless. And I don't mean zero effort, okay? Don't confuse effortless with no effort, okay? I don't mean zero effort. I mean effortless, less effort. So when we look at my business and the things I've accomplished, I now live a life that is effortless. Not no effort, it's effortless. I used to have to get up at 5 a.m., go into work 8-hour, 10-hour shifts, take breaks when they were approved, take time off when I was told, make very little money for the big amount of effort I was putting in, right? Work in conditions I was uncomfortable, wear uniforms I hated, all of those things. Now I make what I used to make in 1 year, I make in 1 month, sometimes more. And I work like a quarter of the time. Why? Because I faced many challenges and now it's easier. Now it's effortless, right? So let's go back to the horoscope. It said for the next 6 months, you will face challenge. And then in summer, things will get easy. Well, I live in Alberta. And the road conditions here alone are challenging. So yeah, for 6 months, it could be a challenge. We could say that is the challenge, but this person actually is coming into retirement. So I said to him, what if the challenge is actually the inner work of accepting that you're getting a bit older, that you're now changing how you earn an income and how you do your routine. This person really thrives with routine. So what if the challenge is actually letting go of the edge of the swimming pool? And why would I say that? When a child learns how to swim, they hang on to the ledge until they get comfortable. They learn, maybe they let go and they swim to the teacher and then they go back to the wall because the wall is safety. The wall, it's the comfort of being safe. And I think for many people, working is comfortable. They know how much they're going to make. They they know when they're going to make it. They know when the paycheck is due. They know how many weeks off a year that they have. They know how many sick days a month they have, right? It's predictable. There isn't much to guess there. There isn't much of a challenge in that. There is a challenge and possibly even struggle in wanting more and knowing that they're meant for more. That's where the discomfort and the struggle comes in. So if this person is about to retire, a lot will change. And getting the courage up to let go of the wall of the swimming pool and swim into the deep end on their own, that actually could be the challenge. And facing what comes with that could take some time, right? That could take time. And then we come into summer, and it could mean that they don't have to take time off this summer. They just get to go do whatever they want to do with their time, whenever the hell they really want to do it. It's flow. And here in Alberta, a lot of us get the winter blues, and they usually pass by around June. So there's also that into the equation. So when you read your horoscope, okay, when you read your horoscope, I want you to really pay attention. I want you to pay attention the meaning that you're giving it, and look at what meaning that you're giving it, what you're giving to things, because oftentimes I see people, they're giving meaning to things that actually don't serve them. And since you get to decide what you believe and what you don't believe, it's pretty amazing how easy that stuff can change. So you can go read your horoscope and decide what that gets to mean to you. And if you get stuck on this, you know where to find me. You can find me on Instagram at Vienna Corbett Official. And of course, I'm going to post the link in the show notes for you guys. For the Rise Journal, that's the 60-day transformational journal, I have a spectacular free masterclass that's upcoming here in a couple weeks as well. So on January 20th, it's lunch hour for me here. So that's Mountain Standard Time. It'll be 12 p.m. noon Mountain Standard Time. I will post the link in the show notes so you guys can have a bit of a lunch and learn. I'm really excited for that. We're going to talk about some things that are really key for your business, but also for your life. And it's stuff that you can apply right here, right now. I always like to give you guys things that are high value that you can use immediately. And I try to do the footwork ahead of time for you guys so that it's not the long way through the woods. So I hope that you guys found today's episode valuable and just loaded with things that you can use right away. As always, send me your questions, follow me, tag me, share with a friend, and let's up-level the world's mindset and their consciousness together. You get to be a part of that, a big part of that. So I hope you guys have a fabulous day. You never know who you could impact. So have a wonderful new year. Happy 2026. And may 2026 be your year, because remember, it's already done. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Manifested Life podcast. If you loved it, hit follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And come hang out with me on Instagram at Vienna Corbett Official for the freebies, trainings, and all of the powerful content that I drop daily. Remember, it's already done.